Sergeant Argybrady here. Today, well, a few days ago, I made a mistake. I forgot that I split this episode into two parts. So I just directed to part two. Like the whole... I just directed to part two and ignored the rest of this episode. Yeah. So today we're gonna finish this. And it's the first time, and hopefully the last time I ever made that mistake. Because, what the actual heck? Also, there's... Like, recently, with my channel, I've noticed that I haven't really been getting as many subscribers as I used to. Like, oh great, it's lagging. I just want to show something real quick. It's better to show on a graph than to just, like, say it. So, as you can see, like, I'm growing steadily, and then all of a sudden I hit this, like, stagnation. So, like, if y'all think I am doing something wrong, or, like, if y'all have any suggestions, just let me know, because I always want to improve y'all's video watching experience. So, yeah, but without further ado, let's get started.
But Zenobia's force...
Oh yeah, this is whenever these people were literally conquering everything.
Forces successfully took Egypt. Despite the setback in the east, in the empire's west, the Gallic Empire was similarly unstable, and the assassination of Postumus in 269 prompted a series of defections. Claudius's trusted general Placidianus seized the moment and took control of southern Gaul.
Dang!
After several victories.
Nice.
Hispania followed suit, breaking their allegiance to...
So he just took all of Iberia? What? That is crazy.
To the new Gallic emperor Victorinus and declared their loyalty to Claudius. But the emperor would not live long enough to reunite the lost territories. In the summer of 270, he journeyed to Sirmium, where he prepared for a campaign against the Vandals who were raiding Pannonia. On the way, he fell victim to a pestilence, likely the plague of Cyprian, a form of smallpox, and he died in August 270.
Oh no.
His younger brother Quintilius, currently stationed at Aquileia, was declared emperor by the Senate. But, in an act typical of the crisis of the 3rd century...
Oh no, is he gonna get, like, assassinated or something?
The new emperor was not recognized by the legions that served under Claudius.
Okay, so we still are in the crisis of the 3rd century then.
Who instead threw their support behind his right-hand man, the talented Illyrian cavalry general, Lucius Domitius Aurelianus.
Oh, how Aurelian is for them. Oh my gosh, I literally missed so much stuff, and we're only like 1.5 minutes in.
More commonly known as Aurelian. It looked like more war and
Jeez, I feel bad for that guy.
Turmoil would engulf what remained of the Roman Empire. But the reign of Quintilius proved extraordinarily brief, possibly lasting as few as 17 days. He committed suicide, realizing he had little hope
The rage quit? What?
against the army of Aurelian. The Senate now recognized Aurelian as the new emperor, but he inherited a state in a dismal condition that had been disintegrating for the past 20 years. Vast territories remained outside of central imperial control, some for nearly a generation. Internal turmoil encouraged pressure from external enemies, and renewed incursions by the tribes north of the Danube spread devastation deep into the interior.
Oh no.
And, with yet another emperor seizing
Jeez, they make it look so scary.
power, the threat of civil wars again grew as new usurpers arose, exploiting the imperial insecurities and the influence of armies on Roman politics.
What in the heck is he supposed to do at this point?
The spiraling political and economic crisis impacted agriculture and commerce the most, which was compounded by the pestilence that had first swept through the empire around the year 250, greatly diminishing manpower for the armies and taxation. Nonetheless, the new emperor steeled himself for the difficult road ahead. In the east, seeking to strengthen the image and power of her regime, Queen Zenobia skillfully played the political game. She exploited the turmoil in Rome, but was careful not to provoke a war with the new emperor. Her mints at Antioch and Alexandria recognized Aurelian as emperor, producing coins in his name.
Nice.
But she also now struck coins bearing the face of her son Vaballathus, honoring him as imperator, a military title of republican origins that was now associated with emperors. In this way, Zenobia gave him imperial status, whilst cleverly avoiding the title of Augustus, which would have unambiguously designated him as emperor.
Wow, smart.
Blatantly challenging Aurelian's authority. Roman mints were spread widely across the empire, and emperors used them to make political statements to their subjects. The populace often learned of a new Roman emperor when coins appeared with his portrait. Thus, the circulation of coins bearing Vaballathus's face undoubtedly solidified his authority over the Palmyrene domain, but it was also an encroachment on Aurelian's authority. Zenobia's power play extended further. Her coins bore inscriptions that recorded the number of years that Vaballathus had ruled the East, thereby showing that he had been in power longer than the emperor, as if to suggest her son's seniority over Aurelian. Coupled with this web of political intrigue, Zenobia began the expansion of her army and moved into Asia Minor. She captured Tyana in Cappadocia and Ancyra in Galatia.
That is a lot of land.
And attempted to seize Chalcedon in Bithynia, which resisted and remained loyal to Aurelian. With this show of force, the queen wanted to hinder any offensive by the emperor, while she also played the long game, slowly building up the power of her realm. But despite the Palmyrene expansion further hindering the empire's reunification, the Gothic problem in the Balkans remained unresolved, and Aurelian's own position was far from stable. The first order of business for the emperor was to strengthen his rule in the territories that were still under central control. Aurelian was an exceptional leader of armies, and he campaigned with unmatched energy.
Yeah, we saw that on the second episode.
In
a fantastic general.
270, he stopped a Jutungian invasion of northern Italy, fighting a series of actions before defeating them in a decisive battle on the Danube. He caught them in the middle of crossing the river, weighed down with plunder and prisoners. However, while he was consolidating his power in Italy, the Pannonian frontier was left vulnerable to attack, and an army of Vandals crossed the river in force, pillaging the region.
Rude.
Later that year, he tasked Placidianus with defending Italy against a possible attack by the Gallic Empire, before departing east to set up his headquarters in Siscia. It was here that he assumed his consulship on New Year's Day, 271 AD. This office would normally have been assumed at Rome, and it was unusual for an emperor to assume the consulship without even setting foot in the old capital. This was a further sign of the diminishing role of Rome in imperial pomp at this time.
Yeah, like what you would see was a shift away from Rome and towards, well, now it's called, well, right now in 271 it's called Byzantium, but yeah, towards Byzantium, later Constantinople. And Rome would play, it would be less and less significant until eventually it would fall. It was conquered by barbarians, and eventually the Byzantines actually reconquered Rome, but Rome was a completely different place. It was like almost unrecognizable by then. It was not the grand city that it used to be. Like many of the old structures had been stripped down for building materials, like the Colosseum, for example. Um, like many places were unsafe. Like some places were abandoned. Like the population was not at all the same as what it used to be. So Rome definitely saw a huge decline.
By now, the season had advanced, making it difficult for the Vandals to live off the land, and knowing that the enemy was not equipped for siege warfare, Aurelian evacuated the livestock and food supplies into the fortified cities. Once he was satisfied that the war of attrition had weakened the barbarians and that his own supply lines were established, he marched to meet the Vandals. The campaign was a grueling affair, but after an indecisive first battle, the barbarians were subsequently defeated in the Pannonian interior.
Nice.
The Vandals sued for peace, handing over hostages and providing 2,000 horsemen for the Roman army, and the Romans provided them with supplies for their journey back to the Danube. The emperor, however, had little respite in which to savor his victory, and in early 271 he was forced to march back west. The Itungi had returned, this time probably with a coalition of other Germanic tribes, launching a major invasion of Italy. They destroyed numerous towns and countryside in the Po Valley.
Why do they do this? Just leave them alone. Invade the Gallic Empire! Why aren't you invading the Gallic Empire? Why do you have to invade Rome? Like, these guys are perfectly weak and fine and open. Attack them, not Rome. What? Everyone's attacking Rome. It's insane. Like, just imagine, like, the amount of stress, like, the emperors had at this point. Like, having to deal with all these problems. Like, the only person who could be in that position is an insane person, seriously.
Before pushing south, threatening Rome itself.
Well, I would say that's pretty far from Rome, but...
At first, Aurelian's army suffered an ambush at Placentia, but he managed to regroup his battered army and follow the trail of devastation that marked the enemy's route down the Adriatic coast.
Jeez. You have never seen a maneuver like this since Hannibal. Like when he conquered all the way down here.
Knowing that the Romans were on their heels, the barbarians stayed on the march, aiming to cross the Apennines towards the capital. But Aurelian managed to catch up with them. On the banks of the Metaurus River, he achieved a major victory in the Battle of Fano.
Oh, wow.
Subsequently, he pushed the invaders back across the Po River before dealing a crushing defeat to the Itungi in the Battle of Ticinum.
Never heard of the Itungi before. Like, who are they?
The victory broke the strength of the tribes along the upper Danube and put an end to Germanic invasions against Italy until the times of Alaric in the...
But there's still like a million invasions here, like in Serbia. What in the... What the heck fell? What? Did y'all hear that, guys? Am I going crazy? Okay, that's creepy. Anyways, let's keep watching.
400s, nearly 150 years later.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably like my favorite series that I've watched on HistoryMarch so far. It's so interesting, and like the fact that Rome could easily just collapse at this point. Like, even though they're not. But, it's still interesting.
Later. Meanwhile, the invasion caused panic in Rome itself, and this, combined with the
Yeah, like, this text bubble isn't exactly, like, hyperbole. There were people... Well, hyperbole in the sense that the Romans thought that the world was ending. Like, whenever Rome started to collapse, they literally thought the world was ending. Like, that's not an exaggeration. Like, they literally thought that.
endemic corruption had sparked a major rebellion against the emperor. Aurelian force-marched his
How many more rebellions are we gonna have? Jeez.
army to the capital, defeated the rebels and executed the conspirators, using the crisis to purge the political landscape of his rivals as well, many of whom had supported Quintilius. Usurpers in Dalmatia and southern Gaul, seeking to exploit the chaos, were either defeated in battle or assassinated, and construction began on a massive new system of walls to better protect the capital.
Nice.
But again, Aurelian had no time to waste. After briefly overseeing work on the new defenses, the emperor marched back east to the Balkans. Due to his elevation to the purple and the resulting power struggle in Rome, the Gothic War remained unfinished business.
There's some more?
Now
What the
ranks of
heck?
marauding bands had swelled, posing a great menace to Thrace. They were led by King Canabas. This Goth was possibly none other than King Conniver, who had famously destroyed the army of the Emperor Decius at the Battle of Abratus 20 years prior, an event etched in the memory of the Romans. By the time Aurelian arrived with his army, the Goths had already inflicted considerable damage. But, in a stunning twist, the Roman Emperor inflicted on them a crushing defeat. However, unlike his predecessors, he did not stop there. Rather, crossing the Danube, he invaded their homeland and scored a decisive victory over King Canabas, who was killed in combat. The Roman army then proceeded to sack Gothic settlements and lay waste to their lands. And in a planned propaganda move, countless captive women were deported to Rome to be later displayed dressed as Amazons in Aurelian's triumph. This was the most decisive victory a Roman army had in this region throughout the troubled 3rd century. Then, in a radical rethinking of regional strategy, the emperor withdrew Rome's military and administrative presence from Dacia.
Why? It's literally protected by a giant mountain range.
The province had been weakly garrisoned since the reign of Gallienus. By abandoning it altogether, Aurelian could rationalize the long and undermanned Danubian frontier from which he collected troops, and repopulate the Balkans, devastated by war, with the people he evacuated from Dacia.
Okay, I guess it's smart.
Now, he was ready to retake the East. Credit goes to our...
Oh my gosh, okay, wow, that was a fantastic episode. Like, wow. Y'all seem to like it too. This series is getting, like, pretty nice views, so I'm glad y'all like it. Yeah, thank y'all for watching. New videos out tomorrow, and goodbye. Hello everyone, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell thingy. And if you didn't, then make sure to leave a thumbs down. Oh yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. And while you're at it, go ahead and watch my other videos. They're probably just as good, and if not better than this one right now. Except for my oldest videos, don't watch those. And, subscribe to these people down here, my fellow sergeants. They're other YouTubers that I either know or I have in high regards. Yeah, even my cat agrees. So, thank you for watching, and have a great day.